Hello listeners and viewers. Welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned as always to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and WAEC as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
Good day, learners. You're welcome to Kaduna State's e-learning program on radio and television. My name is Tijani Muhammad Aliyu. The subject is marketing. Today's topic is marketing environment. We have two distinct definitions for marketing environment that you have. In the course of this lesson, we are going to look at what marketing environment is, the factors affecting marketing environment, which is the micro and the macro factor. We'll look at the summary, and eventually we'll give assignment. Now, what is marketing environment? Marketing environment are all the factors that are not controllable by the marketer, and the marketer must learn to constantly create adjustment to the prevailing situation. Another good definition goes like this: marketing environment is the totality of all external forces that influence condition and shape the operation of the firm. Marketing environment changes over time. It is not constant. Marketers need to constantly monitor the changing nature of the market. What do I mean by this? Let's use a simple phrase or an analogy. Can you stop a flowing river? Definitely the answer is no. All you have to do is to learn how to swim in the direction of that flowing river. That is what marketers always have to abide with, in the sense that no matter the changing circumstances that they find themselves in any environment, they should be able to adapt and make creative adjustment towards it. Otherwise, you'll be left behind in business. More so, for every factor that comes along with, it comes with its own advantage. The advantage in the sense that you have to create a niche for yourself to ensure that at least you take that advantage and thrive in the business place. For us to understand this marketing environment very well, we have two broad perspectives that you have to look into. Number one is the micro environment. Number two, the macro environment. The micro environment are those factors or forces that are within the confluence of the company or the firm or the business, they are not too far from it. Say for instance, number one, we have the company. It is necessary for a firm to pay great attention to those groups when designing marketing plans in order to provide superior customer value and satisfaction. What does this mean? Customers' priority must always come to play. If you are making a marketing plan of production of goods and services today, you have to plan towards the target market. What actually do they want? You don't just produce. Do you have the population? And so on. The number two is marketing the suppliers. Now the suppliers are those that alter the competitive position and marketing capabilities in areas of supplies of raw materials, energy, labor, and capital. What does this mean? The supplier of raw materials to a company has to take into very cognizance. You don't just choose a supplier that will supply you quality goods that will ensure that you have a profit, a maximum yield in your production, that at least you can have exponential growth and profit. You don't just choose supplier. The laborers too, you have to learn how to encourage them in the sense that give them the incentives that are required for them to be able to produce to maximum level, so that equally you can make your own profit. For the capital, do you have enough resources to manage this business? If you don't have, at least you can go into an agreement with an industry that provides incentive or money in terms of like people like banks like Bank of Agriculture or Bank of Industry for you to continue in your business. The third one is the marketing intermediaries. These are numbers of middlemen, or which include the wholesaler, the retailer, and the agent that the company must always take cognizance of. You have to learn to choose the marketing intermediaries that you actually need for your business to thrive. There are some agents that you can actually do away with to cut costs for you to be cost effective, since you are inside the business to make profit. That's what the marketer should always consider, especially when thriving in an environment that is micro. You just have to learn how to make profit and make sure that you ensure that the availability of these middlemen are not don't take advantage of the situation that you have at hand. Now, the customers. The customer's attention is very paramount because they are the one that buys the product. They include the household, the business buyers, the resellers, the government, and the international buyers. Explanation on this is this. For you to have maximum sales, you have to know the kind of buyer that you employ. Are your products meant for reproduction of other products, or are they meant for just direct sales? You produce and sell directly to the consumer. That's what is meant by buyers in this context. You have government buyers, you have the reseller market, which buy on finished products or semi-finished products and use them much again to produce other products and sell at a convenient price that will be more profitable to the company and also to the buyer of that particular product. It becomes a win-win situation. Now the competitors. You have to take cognizance of the competition, your competitors that are in place. Are they competitors that are friendly for your survival of the business? You have to know what exactly the products they are producing and what line of production they are throwing. Competitors in this case are highly significant. You cannot do away with your competitors because they form a significant role in the business. Otherwise, you'll be producing and you're not selling. The public. It is the duty of the company to satisfy the people at large with its competitors and the customers. The various public in the market environment include the financial public, the media public, the general public. What does it mean? There, your promotional tools have to come in place, where you have the public relation, the publicity at itself, and the merchandising effects must come into place. How? which means you must run a concurrent promotional activities or merchandise activities in an outlet for you to sell over time. Otherwise, you'll be shifted out of business. Now let's look at the macro environment. The macro environment are those environments or those forces that the marketer must always learn how to live with. These are forces that are outside the business. They are not inside just like the micro, but these are macro, which are outside. They include the political or legal environment. They include, number 2, the economic environment, the socio-cultural environment, the demographic environment, the geographical environment, and the technological environment. For the purpose of WAEC and NECO, certain factors are merged together. Say for instance, they might decide for WAEC, they might decide to merge social and cultural together, or demographic or geographical together, economic and other taxes together, and the rest of it, which is the legal environment. Now, for the legal environment or which the political environment, these are government agencies or pressure groups that influence the limit the activities of various organizations and individuals in a given society. It helps to restrict the activities of business to ensure its operation within the content of the law. These are laws that are put in place. These laws are merely to guide the customer. The customer's right is always put in place. The right to consume. The right to consume the available product, a product that is of price friendly, a product that is household name, a product that is acceptable to the general public, and so on. These are laws that are put in place by the government. They are legislations. They are laws, legislation, rules guiding the business. That is why oftentimes the government enacted certain bodies to take care of these regulations. Say for instance, we have the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, which is in charge of ensuring that there's quality of products and the value of product is always met at the right time. Then we have the Price Control Board, which is responsible in ensuring that the price of the particular product are friendly to the market, irrespective of the producer or manufacturer. You have to come to terms what the marketing board has to put in place so that at least you have a recommended retail price, which will give you an alternative price. At the end of the day, everybody goes home smiling with the good price that you have. Now we have the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, which is called NAFDAC. This is ensuring, this particular body ensures that all products must meet standard measurements before you send them down to the market. Otherwise, you cannot send them down to the market for consumption. They must be certified by this particular body, which is NAFDAC. Then we have Weight and Measurement or Act of 1963, which also ensure that at least, especially in cases of confectionery and bakery business, that you don't use certain ingredients that are harmful to the public or to the consumer. That's where weight and measurement comes in, which means the customer must be protected, irrespective probably of the exploitative tendency that the producer might want to play. So these laws are enacted for the consumer to be protected, weight and measurement. Then we have the Hire Purchase Act 2 of 1990. Then we have the Sales of Goods Act of 1983. Let me dwell a little bit on the Price Control Board and National NAFDAC. Now, the certification of certain products must come with certain labels. Say for instance, if you buy a tin of milk today, you see that behind that tin, there's what we call the nutritional value. the nutritional value of that product. What do you stand to gain? Is it medically friendly, depending on what kind of ailment you have in the body. With this kind of generation that you have different type of ailments, especially if it comes to cancer, diabetes, and the rest of them. You discover that it's always written behind it for diabetic patients or not for diabetic patients, as the case may be. So all these things are being certified by these bodies, especially NAFDAC, then weight and measurement. Weight and measurement, especially, is always in the case of using bromine to produce bread in sufficient quantity so that you can have exponential growth for the business. Otherwise, it's harmful to the buyer. That's where Weight and Measurement Act of 1963 comes to play. Now, the cultural environment. This consists of the institutions and other forces that affect society's preferences, perception, beliefs, values, knowledge of the group, and behavior. For example, textile industries can only survive in this kind of environment if it takes to sell products used by target market, which is ethnocentricity. That is ethnic sensitiveness. You have to be sensitive in the area that you operate. For instance, laces clothing are always synonymous to the western part of the country. Cheddar is synonymous to the northern part of the country, while the eastern part of the country are used with probably heavy wrappers. Southwest, south used with heavy wrappers like George, Hollandis, and the rest of them. So you, as a marketer or as a producer, you must learn you must know what to produce for certain ethnic group. Otherwise, you might be out of business. These are cultural factors that must be taken seriously by the marketer or the producer. Now, the social environment. This refers to an environment in which is made up of certain elements which are social class, group, and power. I would like to relate this to automobile industries. Automobile industries have a way of creating a class for the products that they produce. For cars, they might start to produce luxury cars, customized cars, full option cars that are meant for certain individuals. So the price variation will always differ in this case. It's not everybody that those cars are meant for. Those cars are meant for certain class of people, especially when it comes to luxury automobile goods. This is what we call class differentiation or strata in society. How do I mean? Let's use a simple analogy, for instance. A table water can sell for 15 naira. But there's a class of people that will not go for that table water that costs 15 naira. They would rather go for a table water that costs nothing less than 250 or 300 as the case may be. 250 or 300 naira as the case may be, because of class. Otherwise, they don't want to belong to the lesser class. They have a class in which they operate. That class is what we call the social class. Your class depends on how your products that you use depend on the class that you belong. Now, the technological environment. This environment tells us the innovations that have come to stay. Innovations like use of credit cards, use of e-marketing, use of e-commerce, use of ATM cards, debit cards, and so on, your vending machine and the rest of them. These are new innovations that the marketer or the producer must always learn how to live with and make creative adjustments wherever he or she find herself or himself. You have to take into cognizance those technological factors are available in that market area, in that particular region, whether it's of lower class or higher. Now, if you go to urban areas, definitely you know that they have enough ATM machines, especially in banking areas, in urban areas. enough vending machines. So those ATM banking are made easy in that particular area, in the sense that you transfer online, cashless society. Transfer online, you don't need to use bulky money that will attract some unscrupulous elements to start chasing you all around, even to your houses. But by mere banking, it's all what technological advancement or technological environment is talking about. Say, for instance, again, you can use your credit card to transact a huge amount of money. It all depends on the card you are using. Is it whether it's VAP or the other, the smaller one, which can use to transfer a little amount of money or larger amount of money, as the case may be. It all depends on the cash flow that you want to use. There are so many technological advancements that is being advanced in this marketing environment that the marketer must consistently learn how to live it and make creative adjustment as the case may be as the time unfolds. The other one is geographical or demographic environment. This environment tells about the land mass, the population, the size. It determines what to be produced. Large population means large market for the company's products. For the company's product. Now, if you have a large population, for instance, you discover that you have a large market for your goods. Now, from that place, you now start creating class. You now start producing for upper class, middle class, and lower class. That is why Africa is a destination hub for every foreign company. They will prefer to come over here, build a subsidiary of their companies, and sell their products, which is to cost and for cheap labor, and for the availability of products or produce or services in good time. They sell, they make exponential growth, they make exponential profit, robust profits that will last for the company much later, and they'll plow back into the system again and make much profit. For religious environment, the religious environment tells us that consists of the forces that guide or surround the religion of individuals or communities and have direct impact on their daily activities. It influences the pattern of life of the people. For instance, pork meat is prohibited in Islam. If you are selling a pork meat, for instance, you can't go to an area where it's predominantly dominated by Islam or Muslims. So also, you cannot sell certain clothes in a certain area that is meant for Muslim women, especially hijab or veils. If you take it down to a certain area, they are not welcome. But if you take it down predominantly to a Muslim area, they are welcome because the religion permits it. The religion does not permit pork meat. So certain meats cannot be sold in certain areas. Those factors must be considered for a marketer to thrive in any environment that he or she finds himself. It is very significant, very, very significant when it comes to religious environment. In short, in most time, it is always matched together as religious and socio-cultural and cultural environment. Now, for economic environment, this comprises of factors that affect customers, purchasing power, and spending pattern. Example, the inflation, the tax, the levies, the interest rate, the debit, the credit, the income, the tariff, and so on, which help in determining the success of the marketer. For any marketer to thrive in any given environment, you must learn to abide by this particular factor, which is the economic factor. Are the rates of you operating in that particular area exorbitant? Is it very high? Is it of low interest? Can you manage between limited of your financial resources? And so on. My dear learners at home, we've come to the conclusion of this particular lesson, which is marketing environment. By way of summary, we said marketing environments are those forces or variables that the marketer must always learn to live with and make creative adjustment as the case may be. And the marketing environment is divided into two broad groups, which is the micro environment and the macro environment. The micro environment consists of the following, which is the company, the supplier, the market intermediaries, the competitor's product, and the customer. While the macro environment consists of the following or factors. They include political or legal environment, economic environment, cultural environment, social environment, technological environment, demographic and geographical environment, and so on. For your assignment, you have to define what marketing environment is. That's number one. Number two, state and explain 5 factors that affect marketing environment. I repeat. Number one, what is marketing environment? 2, state and explain 5 factors that affect marketing environment. If there's any question whatsoever or any topic in marketing so far treated that you don't understand, you can call me on the number showing on your screen, which is 08036373342. I repeat, 08036373342. I remain Tijani Muhammad Aliyu. Stay home and stay safe.